I'm sure all of your listeners have felt this. Like the easy example is if you need to buy new trail running shoes and you go to Amazon and you read the reviews of the shoes you're thinking about, you don't leave with more clarity. You probably leave confused.
So
And
true.
that's
Yeah.
sort of what happens when you like, I just need to figure out how to invest some money, or I need to figure out how to save for education. Like it seems I'm just going to open a bank account for heaven's sakes, right? It seems super easy. And then you get into it. You're like, there's this nuance and edge case. And so that's sort of where things get a little bit more complex. We're like, how much do we want to consider here? Like, you know, if you were to in the average Americans, I can't remember what the number was, but if you took every potential combination of clothing in the average American's closet, there was some it was like hundreds of thousands of potential possibilities. If
Yeah.
you thought about every one of those every morning, you would never get dressed, right?
Right.
So there's this natural thing that occurs, like how much information. I'm thinking about, like, for your listeners, that sketch is a line that's coming from the left hand side of a piece of paper, and then it gets to the middle and it looks like a giant ball of yarn. Like it's like, oh no, what about this, and what about this, and what about this, and what about this? That's complexity. And we're in the middle of that. Sometimes it feels like the messy middle, or some people call it the groan zone. It's like, but if you feel that way, that's actually means it's actually sort of a sign that you're on the right path. Like
Yeah.
you go to read all those reviews on Amazon. The purpose of those reviews was to give you a bunch of different viewpoints.
Mm-hmm.
And then there gets to be a point where, and my wife calls it the sun salutation moment, where there gets to be a point where you're like, enough information.
Yes.
I've done all the that was an important part. I did all the research. How do I move from my head to my heart and say, after all this research, this is the thing that matters?
Mm-hmm.
And when you come out the other side of that ball of yarn and you say like this, you've had to you've had to be sort of an editor,
Yeah.
right? And an editor by definition has to leave certain things out.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we get that wrong. Like we decide to leave something out that we, in hindsight, we're like, oh, that was important. Well, we can go back and grab it. Like to our earlier discussion, we'll go back and grab it. But it requires the like, no, this. And again, I love my wife's version of this is the sun salutation moment. It's just like quiet, peace, that, feel it, great, let's move on. And when you get there, I call that elegant simplicity,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's kind of the earned simplicity. There was actually, it looks from the outside like it might have been really easy, but that's because nobody saw all the work that you did to get there. And I think that's a life well lived. Like we all know people who are like, man, their life looks so simple. And well, that was really hard work.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's something that we're all in search of. So I think that's what jumps out at me.
Yeah.
I think the other one that jumped out at me, 'cause it's something that we work with clients on all the time, and they don't really think that it's an important thing until they do it. And I know you always, in a way, struggled with it for a long time, but it's cash flow love.
Yeah, that's funny because it's appropriate that you would ask about that, because you do know that for years, I tracked every penny.
Right.
And after we'd been married, my wife and I just celebrated 30 years. After we'd been married 2 years, one night she came out because I was up at the computer and she was like, I said, do you know we spent $182.47 on gas this month? And she was like, is that what you've been doing out here every night? And I'm like, yeah. She was like, do you want me to spend less on gas? Like, should I not drive to school? Should I like 150 to 250? Like, it's fine. Like, why are we? And I was like, oh my gosh, she's right. So then I developed this like almost this allergic reaction to anything called budgeting, until just a couple of years ago, I started realizing, like, in my life and my career, my only real goal is to earn, like in my career, my only goal is to earn permission to do the next project.